Who?
Right, Doctor. What were you just saying about psychopaths and criminals?
Well, I was saying, really, most people don't play the game of psychopath and criminal. It's just when you realise what power it can give you, some people do get enticed into it. So trying to be, should we call it, still honest and truthful, it's very hard to do when so many people are stuck in the game. They have no choice.
Stuck in what game, Doctor?
The game of money and life, as we call it.
Oh,
our system of
planetary
sharing.
game sphere.
Well, our system of sharing does work. Yeah, we have limited resources. We have many resources. Yeah, we have money, and money is used as a token to go around to exchange our energies. But there's a hole in the bucket, and that hole's been put there on purpose. So everything we try to do for each other slowly seeps out and into this big bucket, which is now being enforced by law. But even then, as we've seen with Ceylon and everyone else, need a bit more shine on that.
Thank you.
There is a system, there are the humans, there is this planet, and you're being able to do things that cause people harm. Well, the system to stop that happening would work if they weren't more enjoying the profits of doing people harm.
Okay, so you're saying that the governments and the churches, the religious institutes, the councils, everybody seems to be doing us harm.
Well, I don't mean so much the organisations, because organisations are not real.
Have you noticed God always needs money?
No,
Can't
that's
get
the
enough of it, can he?
organisation. Yeah.
The creator of all things.
But people really don't want to cause harm. I hope they don't anyway, because that means you've got somebody to fight against, and all we've got to do to lose everything is fight against each other. So we can stop fighting, and if there's something wrong, and people start hiding.
I've never seen a chudder. What's a chudder look like?
It's like, I don't know, actually.
A chudder?
Yeah, I've got too serious anyway, but I think I must be hungry. But little people like the Jonathan Smithers show and David Caressa, or whatever his name is. Now, you've seen lots of footage coming up. Well, if you haven't, start looking, because this is the problem. People have been so used to showing how much they're in authority just by standing up and saying, I'm in charge of you. I can't get that. I don't understand it. So if you see what happens when you finally catch them out saying, well, the rules you're saying that I'm meant to be obeying, you're cheating. So remember, if you cheat, you lose. I'm not cheating, this man isn't cheating, this man isn't cheating, but the people around trying to enforce it, they're doing it because they can't get caught because their mates are going to help them.
Yeah.
Well, if you're their mate, be worried, because if you help anybody commit any type of fraud or crime or harm against anybody, you are equally as guilty. So any society that relies on secretivity, I like that one, secrets to allow them to operate, you've got to wonder who they're looking after. Are they looking after us? Well, why can't they tell us what they're doing then? And so far, very helpful. However far you go through this, you'll always find somebody to help you from a system, and then they don't. They take the money just as everybody else does. Yeah. So systems being corrupt, as I say, individual humans, there are some who actually enjoy and are benefiting from the positions of powers they're put in.
Yeah.
But they believe they have power over me. And if I don't do so, there's many, many, many of their friends will prove that they have power over me. That is an act of war. Yep. If I cause harm to anybody, I will recompense and put it right. But if I'm being forced into a system where I have to cause people harm, well, there's only one option. You're given choices of doing one thing or the other, and both are wrong. What do? You do nothing. Yeah. But make sure it's very clear to everybody why you do nothing, because if good people say nothing, then you allow it to happen to others. Don't play the game. Tell them where they're wrong, and if they want to use their rule book, you study it, because if you cheat the rules, they come after you. They're cheating the rules. Remain in honour, and then make sure it's clear to everybody who's lying and who's cheating, because it ain't me. I'm meant to be a trusted person, and because of the stuff that we're doing right now, my job, I can't do it. I will be removed from my office, and I'll reveal more about that and how I got there and why I'm doing it. Maybe later. We'll be on the air later tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah. Trent Sounds will be uploading it later to YouTube. Right.
The only thing I'm actually missing
time is ticking.
Well, I'm just worried that we haven't heard of me.
Chunky Mark, the artist taxi driver. Yeah, yep. He's back in a week's time.
It's not exactly prime time TV, but we get your message.
We love you. We all love you. Thank you, Doctor.
Like they did a couple of weeks back, we have Bob Hood and Ceylon.
Hello everybody, it's lovely to be back on the show.
Welcome back, gentlemen.
Hi, guys.
Is it still Ceylon?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because sometimes in the world of intrigue, you know, we've got to keep ducking and diving. What you guys been up to?
Well, the thing you're saying about the names there as well at the moment is, well, you can find us online for what we have been doing, but last time we were talking about a few of the success stories, yeah, particularly the mortgage events.
Yes.
Well, you know, when people get to a point where, oh my God, they're getting away with this, not that we're right or wrong, things do change, and this is not to scare people, this is to show that if this type of thing happens, yeah, there's more people behind. So we're looking for a bit of a Spartacus moment now, is actually trying to get people to, don't have to come and actually scream and shout or anything, but if you listen to what the next moves of our judicial, our police and our, what do they call it, debt recovery or whatever the banks were up to, Ceylon's been a little bit further afield and he's had quite some adventures.
What you been up to, Ceylon?
Well, I think we'll come back to that a little bit later. The video we've seen a little bit a while ago. For anyone that want to see the video that we'll be talking about in a bit, if you go onto a friend of mine's YouTube channel, Sri Lanka Sea, all one word, and you'll recognise it because it's got a picture of Robin Hood, and you'll be able to find the video that we'll actually be talking about later. But for now, we've had some successes with speeding tickets. Now, not that I advocate speeding,
no,
I hasten to add, but if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're travelling down a motorway and there's no other cars on there, then why can't you go as fast as you want? It's only your life you're risking.
Well, they do it in other countries in Europe, don't they?
Yes.
For example, so, you know.
Well, what happened was someone got a speeding ticket and they filled out the details of the speeding ticket and sent it back. Mm-hmm. They then got a letter back threatening them, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, because they didn't sign it.
Okay.
They rely on you informing on yourself. So they ignored that, filled all, whatever out they'd asked, sent it back again without signing it. Mm-hmm. And this went on 3 or 4 letters till eventually it just got dropped.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, hang on a minute, you know, I'm still having this problem with this parking ticket. Because they still want me to join in and play the game. Just getting to the point now where it's getting quite comical. The letters they're sending me have loads of errors in. They've told me they're not dealing with me in that way, but I actually haven't filled the form in yet. So, should I fill the form in then?
Well, the form that you've got is slightly different, isn't it?
Well, I'm just thinking, because this is what we've been trying to show, this would bring the law into disrepute if you could cancel a parking ticket because it's not valid or right. And the same thing, unfortunately, was happening with, oh my God, this is going to affect all the road traffic acts, including the speeding and everything. But, hang on a minute, that shows that they are contracts.
Yeah.
So if you don't sign it, then that contract is essentially non-existent.
Yes, they require your consent, and it's a tricky, devious little thing they do, but you'd automatically think, oh, I've got to sign this because it says sign here.
It says signature, yes, you know.
But actually, on Get Out of Debt, I posted earlier, probably about midday, this is to do with an American guy. They have, over in America on the motorways, they have one of the lanes as like
carpool, is it?
That's the one.
I think that's been proposed in a couple of cities around here as well.
Well, this particular guy, he wanted to challenge this, and the reason that I posted it on Get Out of Debt and everywhere else was because it's actually on the mainstream news, and because you're supposed to have another person in the car, this particular guy had his lawful documents in the car for his another corporation.
What, like you were saying that we're not persons, that's just a piece of paper? Yep.
Exactly, but this is the beauty. Even the reporter said that we know that in law, a person is a corporation.
Okay.
Who was sitting on the chair next to him then?
The corporation. Or as they like to refer to it, a person. And it even says it in their Road Traffic Act as well, that a person is a corporation. So he wants this to be taken to court, because if it does, they've either got to agree that a contract or a corporate piece of paperwork isn't a person, in which case, bang.
So therefore, a piece of paperwork could stand in court?
Well, this is
That's what the whole test of this potentially will be.
Yeah, because they're saying a person is a corporation. And a corporation, if you've got, for instance, your driving licence, that's a corporation, it's all in capitals, it's not you.
Or even your credit card, your debit card.
Always all in capitals because it's the corporation. So in actual fact, you could just drive around in that carpool lane with your driving licence in the spare seat, because that's a corporation sat in that seat.
Yeah, but they're not going to like that, are they? Because isn't that sort of like using their rules against them?
Exactly, but that's what happened. The cops didn't like it. and taken him to court, which is what he wants, because it's going to be an interesting day.
Well, he should get a little bit scared. I'm still a bit worried, but not worried in that way. I'm just worried that they really are this stupid. I'm doing the same thing. I've explained to them what a person is, asked them to read the act, but normally you say people are back down by now. Jason, what happened with your dad? Is he back down?
Well, yeah, my dad and his driving ticket. If you were here 2 weeks ago...
Sorry, you don't get a driving ticket. He wasn't moving, was he?
No, that's very true. Yeah, a parking ticket. Sorry, my bad. 2 weeks ago, Bob and Ceylon came in, because obviously I like to keep abreast of the kind of political movements in Nottingham and how you can protect yourself against the powers that be. That's why Bob and Ceylon are here. A couple of weeks, my dad got a parking ticket because he had to replace a battery in his car, so therefore couldn't move it on the street he's lived on for the last 38 years.
The car's outside his house, yeah?
Pretty much, yeah, in a kind of parking permit zone.
But that means that these parking permits, he must have agreed that if he doesn't display that little bit of paper, he must give them money. Is that correct?
I don't think he agreed to that completely, but that's obviously the explicit meaning. Well, so, because he's an 80-year-old man, sometimes he gets a bit forgetful. Sometimes when he comes out to his car, he obviously realised that the battery was cream crackered, so therefore he had to replace it and couldn't move the car. They ticketed him anyway.
But according to those rules, their rules, yeah, he was issued with the permit because he had lawful right to do there. So the actual thing they've fined him for is not displaying the correct paperwork, or in 1939 not having the right label on your clothes.
Pretty much. But he's back down, like a lot of people do, through fear of ongoing financial distress.
Well,
He's a pensioner.
Well, that's it. The fear bit of getting any more trouble is silly, and like this chap in the States going, bring it on. Now, I'm still just doing my little parking ticket, I keep saying, but they really do not understand that you can't hurt anybody as a company. And if you act as a company, or for a company that tries to hurt people, well, I'm talking about physical harm. They do believe they can do it. So right now, I know I've been messing around with little bits, and there's so many more important things doing, but I'm trying to put a little collection together, just show you what happens in one person's life on this parking dilemma. But I'm doing it myself, same as this guy. I would go all the way. Does anybody else actually believe that what we're doing might be right? Doesn't matter if it's lawful, doesn't matter if it's legal, but if you're beginning to wonder, hang on a minute, we're being bullied into stuff, I've got some nice entertaining ideas that can tie these in, and I'll be having a word with you in a moment, Jason, to see if we can do that.
Okay.
While we're off there, but Ceylon, let's try and get you back onto what happened once you've, shall we call it, stopped these mortgages in Nottingham. Well, you're getting quite famous for this, apparently.
Well, it's not me. I only was at 2 of them. I did make it to the one on Friday, but again, it's not. It's groups coming together. Everyone's just coming together and standing up for each other, and that's what we have to do at the moment. And so now, obviously, you're talking about the video that Jason just seen and was quite shocked by.
I was amazed. So what we're going to do is going to play a track, because this needs some serious conversation about this. From the video I've just seen in the studio at Trent Sound Towers in sunny Bulwell, it's quite distressing that the complete boundaries that are crossed by individuals supposedly representing certain authorities is above and beyond. You're listening to Nottingham Lace, and with Ceylon and Bob Hood, and we're trying to outline a few ways and means to protect yourself from literally the powers that be. Right now, we're going to, if you like the sound of that, Nottingham's cutting edge, vintage, contemporary, retro, on point monologue and diatribe about the nature of what's going on in the world. Get down to London. Sleaford Mods are playing at the Social, Little Portland Street, £5 on the door. You can't ask fairer than that. And talking of fair, we're with Ceylon and Bob Hood. They've joined me in the studio just to talk about the liberties taken, A, in your name, and B, on your behalf, in the face of the law, and a way to kind of negotiate the choppy waters that is, you know, unfortunately our lives at the moment, governed by authorities or corporations, and all these notions of kind of fair play. And again, to go on about it is kind of far too long, 'cause we're here all day. But
well, the Village Green Society, or normal folk, or muggles, whichever way I like to look at it, is actually us. We're getting on with things. We believe the system was meant to be a game. Oh, actually, no, it's meant to be real, wasn't it? But the way it's going at the moment, we're coming to points now where points of law are pointed out. Yeah, that if you are doing this, it's talking to police officers, bailiffs, court officials, you are breaking the law. This is the law here, so you are doing wrong. It's coming to a point now where, oh shit, sorry about the word, but these guys have actually got something here that they can stand. How do we get round it? So unfortunately I could say things can turn a bit ugly. No, not if you're aware, and the most important thing is people are only just starting to look at this stuff. The sites that we've mentioned before and we'll mention again will start you off just to seeing if this is real or not, but you must research yourself. You cannot just, I mean, we could be just taking down the river and screwing over just like everybody else, but individually, yeah, we're strong enough if you're educated, but you're coming across a lot of people who don't want to be educated because their system will fail. They will lose their power. Power comes in learning.
And what starts with individual liberties being taken ends up in Cyprus, or ends up in complete degradation. So you guys are here just to kind of hopefully enlighten us to some rights and some wrongs and what we can do.
It's more to show everyone else that, I mean, I travelled down to South Wales to help someone defend their home.
Yeah.
And that's just what we're showing, is that we do travel all over the country to assist someone that we don't even know, but we're there, we'll stand. And everybody needs to realise that the banks they manufacture money out of thin air, basically.
Quantitative easing, they call it, Ceylon.
Where did you learn that one?
I think you told me. But they manufacture it out of thin air, and then they manufactured the crash, and now they're coming for your home, which isn't thin air, it's real. So the fake assets that they pretended to lend you to buy a home, they are now, and we know that they're fake, they're now still coming after the homes. They're after the real value.
Bricks
now.
And mortar, your home, not a house, your home.
Yes.
But the only problem is, because we hadn't realised it till now, we've ended up stuck in the game. The Monopoly we're invited to, the game, look beautiful. But you say, at any point, if you find out you're being then surely you can do something about it. Yeah, we can, and that's the problem now. They're sitting on the big banker's chest, they've rigged Community Chest, and they've rigged everything else as well, and as they're getting caught, how do you think they're going to react? This is what happens. The first thing any crook does is, if we're caught out, they're going to try and squirm out of it. So banking, well, we haven't done anything about that. They get into trouble, we'll go into debt to bail them out, like in Cyprus. But we did agree to it by not doing enough. The magic word that has to be on everything from the very first moment that somebody comes to you for money is no. That's it. And you can do that by not signing.
Understood. And also, a prime example is your journey in Wales and what happened there. Can you tell us exactly what went on?
Yeah, well, we went down, well, I went down to Wales, the rest were already down there because they live local, and it was to help protect someone's home.
And they'd potentially defaulted on their mortgage, or had they, the mortgage had gone up and they couldn't afford it, or?
Either way, they couldn't pay it.
Yeah.
So, they basically says, oh, they're coming to repossess home, is anything we do? And we says, well, a number of us will get together and come and help defend your home.
Yeah.
We went down there and we did our best to defend the home. 11 o'clock there was 3 bailiffs and 2 locksmiths, and there was 3 of us, 4 altogether, and a cameraman. Stood at the gate, and the locksmiths just came down and basically started beating us up, knocking me left, right and centre, knocking the women. There was women there, and they were getting knocked by these guys. And I was filming it on my camera, and the bailiffs, who were probably 50 upwards, the 3 bailiffs, they were that shocked by the violence from the locksmiths, they actually dragged them 2 guys off.
My God. And I've seen this video, and there's a crowbar involved.
Yes.
There's a very burly gentleman putting this crowbar through a window and just destroying the property.
Yeah.
And there's legal paragraphs to state exactly what they shouldn't be doing, but the video shows them exactly what they are doing.
Yeah, if you just get onto the Sri Lanka Sea, and if you look up voidmortgage.com @law and peace, and you'll see the video. It's only 1 minute and 2 seconds long, but all the statutes are there, the case law's there, explaining how they should act, and then you'll see how they actually acted, and you can see that they just broke the law all the way.
You see, this is the nicest thing about making sure you video it, because it's though you're there. Not me, I wasn't there, unfortunately. I keep wanting to see the video going, did it hurt? I think they pulled his hair. But the idea is, people are getting away with things because if I told you about this and a few people mentioned that the guys who come around go, no, you just didn't pay up, and you know, you can't say anything wrong about the police. But when you see, but particularly, the police didn't do anything, I promise you, from what I've seen, you'll see what I mean. Even the police didn't do anything, because while these assaults were taking place, the cameraman who was filming the assaults wondered where the police were. Why weren't they intervening? Sure, oh no, they were employed by the bailiffs, weren't they, at £50 an hour. But turn the camera just for a second to see where they are. Where were they, Ceylon?
They all had the backs to us and were looking down the road, but they certainly would have heard what was going off because it was violent.
Well, if they turn their backs to you, then surely when called into court and asked, what did you see, what would they have seen?
Well, they'll have seen nothing, but they'll have heard it all.
Yeah, but they'll be asked what they've seen. Can you see how this game is going? They're standing less than 20 metres away from 4 people being assaulted. Yeah, I mean, seriously beaten up. First bit of video can't be shown because on the second bit of video it shows the first camera being taken from Ceylon, and by the time he got it back, what they didn't say were taken, they found it by the back door. You watch the video, you can see the man with Ceylon's camera. It's smashed to pieces and a memory card's gone. Evidence is a problem, but nobody is allowed to use that type of violent intervention. I think the last time this type of thing was happening, Margaret Thatcher had it with a few men on horses because the miners decided that they're not going to be able to survive on the money they were getting. Now, are we going to watch all this happen again, or can we stop it now?
So what do we do? What do we do? Do we... obviously, numbers help. What's the remedy? How do we protect ourselves?
Well, there was only 5 of us actually at the front gate, one being the cameraman, so 4 effectively. If I absolutely believe that if there'd been 10 of us there, they wouldn't have even come down for the first assault. They would have just waited for the police and probably then still backed off if the police had been acting on law.
Yeah.
So numbers is the main key issue, but knowing the laws is important as well. We actually supplied everyone that was there. I know you've seen the law.
Yes,
on the screen,
yeah.
Well, we actually supplied everyone with a little folder with all that case law in, and we were pointing it out, reading it out to them, explaining to them what the law actually says and what you can do and what you can't do. And they decided to just totally ignore that and just beat everyone up.
Wow.
You see, I'm meant to be a normal family man, and at the moment I go by the name of Bob Hood. Yeah, thanks. Now, I'm getting fed up with this as well. It's affecting my entire life just by trying not so much to help people, but I'm being harangued over a tiny bit of money. So, my hood's coming off next week, really, because we are trying to get people just to understand if it's even video or turn up and show some support. One of the most important, I can't say men that I've met, but one of the important, intelligent men that I've seen in action still goes by the name of White Rabbit, and he's in court on the 12th of April. Now, if you get to see White Rabbit, you'll see that he does investigate the law and he does make sure that people he's speaking with understand this. But he doesn't really need much backup because he's only putting paperwork into court. But any type of support, yeah, find out where he's going to be there, have a look at what he's doing, will be superb. And you'll be very surprised when particularly when he's dealing with the tax office asking him about the law. Now, Ceylon tells us in a nice way of explaining what he does, but what he does is he rings them up and he says, somebody's told me that I don't have to pay tax, so I wanted you to tell me.
Understood, gentlemen. So, just as a kind of a remedy, it's about how do we get hold, how do we get together? Is there a kind of forum that we can use? And
well, actually in Nottingham, we have a thing called the Liberty Bell.
Okay, wow.
Somebody keeps a phone on them, and everyone who could possibly attend to assist anyone sends the number to this particular phone. Then if anything's happening, say for instance you're having trouble with bailiffs or whatever,
yep,
you just send a text message to that phone. That is then transferred on to everybody in the contact list, and anyone that can make it then turn up to assist you.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay.
Well, we don't really do a lot, we just stand around laughing at them, but...
But still, obviously that's safety in numbers, and safety in numbers and knowledge, it seems the key things. So community and being essentially exposed to the information are the two keys.
It's also when you got somebody who's being naughty and normally get away with it, because like your dad, well, I don't want the hassle, yeah?
No.
Exposing, like I say, telling what the law is, show them how they're ignoring it. Now, I'm not after you personally, John Collins, but unfortunately I'm having to deal with you. And as well as expose the little bits of truth about the ticket, there's so many dirty tricks that the council's been up to that I'm afraid, yeah, you need to be exposed.
And the way to do that is obviously keep ploughing away and keep kind of get involved in these people's faces, essentially, in what's going on.
Well, one of the things that we do whenever whenever we do meet up for any of these type of things, we'll have a chat with each other and we have a laugh and a joke.
Yep.
We seriously do. You'll see us laughing and that. What this does, it totally demoralises everyone that's there to put fear in you, because we're supposed to be scared. And when they see us laughing, it returns it back to them, so they're the ones that suddenly think, whoa, what's going on here? These are supposed to be scared, and they're laughing.
Yep.
Oh dear, perhaps we've come to the wrong lot. And you can see them change their attitude.
It's insane.
If you wanted something light-hearted, we'll see if you've got any listeners at all, Jason. But just to say, for this weekend coming up, a little bit of a fun bit, a little bit of a Harlem Shake is going to take place in the city. This will appear, hopefully, on a few little sites if you want to join in. But all you're doing then is coming out and just having fun for about 30 seconds. Now, I call that numbers of support. Well, and you realise how many people are at least listening, then that's as good as a Liberty Bell, really, isn't it? You've got things happening and people turn up. It's knowing that more people are realising they can't get conned. I sounded like you then, didn't I?
No, you did. I must be spreading. But again, I met you, Bob, in a very different situation. We had conversations. Obviously, I talked about what I do here, and we got together. And that seems a kind of fundamental law about this getting together, getting informed.
It's a synergy, and the same thing is like you're not exactly hiding away, and some of the things you say are quite close to the the wind. I mean, that poor little man who's now, was he peace envoy to the Middle East?
Yes.
I didn't say anything like that in case there's a black van come round my house, but it is true. And they say the next thing is we've all got these little names and things, they're tags that are easiest to find, but we are individuals. So I say there's lots of things happening to me. I have to go into battle over a parking ticket. My hood is coming off next week, I promise that. I have a name and I'm going by it. And then I explain where I met Jason. I'm a normal bloke, and I earn my bread and butter by the sweat of my hands and my brow.
Literally.
But I really, really do. So when someone comes round and say, well, I've got a uniform on, so you've got to pay me, I'm not getting it. I really am not getting it. And also, the industry I'm in, it's a fairly simple one. Even that is suffering. There is not a single industry that is not suffering from the money not being able to flow round.
Gentlemen, I'm going to bring it to a close, but just give me some details about how people can get hold of you. I know there's websites and potentially numbers, but just give us a little rundown about the listeners of the show, because you can download the show by next Friday as well if you missed the details. Give us a quick rundown, gentlemen, please.
Well, of course, it's Get Out of Debt Free, which is the main site that I run with John Whitterick. There's the YouTube channels, Sri Lanka Sea, King Abdullah Key. I think there's a few. Oh, the Spaniards channel is a very interesting.
Very important at the moment.
He's the one that's taking the 3 institutions to court, and he can prove fraud. But when we're talking about the mortgage side of things, a lot might think, well, it doesn't affect me at the moment, and I'm struggling, but it doesn't affect me. Well, it could affect you in the future. So get down now and see what happens.
And it will affect you, because if that property next door to you is then bought by a large property maintenance company in London who will stick anybody there, and they will just not give a monkeys about who is in your community, in your area.
Bring them down the area, Jason, you might end up with hippies.
Precisely that. One more time, gentlemen, just give the website again, one of them, so we can get old.
GetOutOfDebtFree.org.
Wonderful.
And thinkfree.org.uk. And we'll also... Sorry? I might have got that wrong, but you'll find it. And also, I'm hoping that something's going to appear up on Trent Sound, particularly about, let's see if we've got any support behind us, to have a bit of a smile on our face. We're not going to be upset. We just want to see if anybody's bothered. I've got to carry on, but it'd be nice to have a dance.
Ceylon, Bob, thank you very much. Gentlemen, I'll see you again very soon.